Hi Gauri, welcome to the Mind Beyond's event, Stitching Talks and what is it? What do I say? Knitting stories. So yes, this time it's your story. So introducing Gauri Das. She's an engineer turned HR professional who has a keen interest in human psychology. That's interesting. We'll come to it. She is a strategic HR leader with 15 plus years of experience in crafting and aligning HR strategy with business goals. She supports business leaders and individuals in driving performance and improving capabilities. She is a possibility explorer and supports business leaders in creating possibilities even if there seems to be none. That's another wonderful point we are going to discuss. She carries a wealth of experience with both startups and well-established organizations. She loves high energy and growth-focused environment. Some of her achievements are HR100 under 40, Top HR Mind India, TAPAI or TAPAI and Economic Times Young HR Leader, Top 70, mind-blowing. Growth-oriented women in corporate Vika. LinkedIn person, the year 2020. Oh yes, I can see that very much in LinkedIn. The moment you post something, there are n number of comments and likes and supports and whatnot. So that says it. She is a passionate speaker and has spoken in multiple national and international forums. She is the lead membership for Professional Speakers Association of India, Mumbai chapter. She mentors students and professionals and guides them on being future ready with a possibilitarian attitude. She is passionate about women empowerment and is leading a learning circle called Leaders Lifting Leaders. Yes, that's another amazing thing that you've been doing, and I hope to join in soon with you in this. This is in my bucket list. She loves networking and knowing people beyond their profiles brings her happiness, and therefore she is a core committee member of Navi Mumbai LinkedIn Local. Passion with compassion is her mantra. Wonderful. Welcome again, Gauri. So, to start with, let me ask you, was there any sudden drift of this change in mind? Like, what started interest you in psychology? You were an engineering student. You are an engineer in terms of your academics. What made you shift to psychology?
Yeah, thank you so much, Roshni. And first of all, thanks for bringing me here. I really appreciate your mission, and I'm glad that I'm part of it. I'm contributing in whatever way is possible. So thank you so much for the invite and the gracious introduction. I'm really happy being here. Talking about this transition from engineering to psychology, so there's another step in between, which is HR. Though I studied engineering, and how engineering happened, even that I shared with you. So I come from a very small village and then for studies in a small town, and two options only, because this was ages ago, and we did not have Google in village. Nobody is going to guide you what other professions exist. So it was only engineering and medical that you do when you are good at academics. And that was the case with me. So automatically the route was engineering, because my drawing is extremely bad. So I was scared if I go for medical, I may not pass when I have to draw certain things. And that's how engineering happened. However, by the time I reached third year, we had paper on management subjects as well. And I used to really enjoy doing learning those. And at the same time, my professor told me that Dave Ulrich is redefining HR, and it's modern HR today, and you will make a good HR leader. I listened to him, and that's how my entry into management happened, and that's how I went to HR. Now, few years in HR, and I started realizing that I need to understand people more and more if I want to bring success to this role. So, two things were standing out to me that if I had to become a good HR leader, one was business acumen, understanding what my company does, and second was understanding people more and more. So, first one also I took care of, and second one is where I started realizing that a degree in psychology would be really helpful, and I went for it. And it has changed my outlook totally. And yes, those LinkedIn posts, if you see, most of it would be related to psychology. And I started writing only after my master's was complete. So such was the impact of this course.
Yes, I do agree. Even I have studied a little bit of psychology. It's more of modern applied psychology. So I've done a diploma course in that. And yes, once you are into it, you understand the depth of human mind, how it functions, its thoughts, and it's amazing. Talking about all this, when I was reading your bio, when I was introducing you to the world, you talk about possibilities, and you say that you are a possibilitarian. So what is the link between the psychology and being a possibilitarian, and what is being a possibilitarian? What is it all about?
Okay, great question, very close to my heart. Thanks for bringing it up. So I have a question for you before I answer what is possibility. Tell me, what is 1 plus 1?
That's 2.
So 1 plus 1 is 2, and Bollywood told us 1 plus 1 is 11 as well. Ek aur ek 11. But if you take one chewing gum and you add another chewing gum, 1 plus 1 would remain 1. Likewise, a bag of laundry, another bag of laundry would again remain 1. In binary system, 1 plus 1 is 1, 0. Right? And we know the story of this guy whose teacher was teaching him additions, and she said 1 plus 1 is 2, but for him 1 apple and another apple was 3 because he had another apple in bag. So 1 plus 1 can be 2, like you said. It can be 11, it can be 1, it can be 3 for this child, or it can be 1, 0. So many ways to look at it.
Correct.
But what we do in life is we just go with is. We don't look at can be. So someone who starts looking at can be becomes a possibility. Now, why do I say that? I have started looking for possibilities because I was like this tortoise, which is always in a shell. The biggest part of tortoise is all about being in the shell. I was in the shell, and I was in a very small village with no good school, no English medium, no exposure to anything. So I was always in this shell, and on top of it, I was an extreme introvert child. So I would hide behind my mom's lap, or I would just run away from people. And then my father saw it, and then he told me that, why do you do this? And I said that I think the world is out there to grab me. This was the level of fear I had. Call it fear of judgment, call it fear of shame or whatever. When I went to engineering college, even there, I would not be able to say yes, madam, to my class teacher's roll call, because I was again scared that the moment I open my mouth, people will laugh at me. So this is how I was only looking at that what is possible for me. I thought that only studies is a possibility for me. But then when my father counseled me and life moved on, some of my bosses also helped me, teachers helped me, I started looking for limitlessness. And from this child who would, even looking at the guest, I would just hide behind my mom and I would not speak. And from there to now being a TEDx speaker and speaking on international forums, I started looking at can be, and that's why I created possibilities.
Amazing. That's so nice. That's so much of learning for anyone who struggles and who finds faults within themselves. Like, I cannot do this. So, and also to the youngsters, that any kind of permutation and combination can work. It's more about permutations and combination. We must have done it in mathematics in our schools. So yes, we never thought that sets, permutations, and combinations can be applied in life as well. That's such a nice way of showing it to the world. Thank you so much. Even I learned from you. And yes, Gauri, I can relate to you with you in an aspect that I was also timid. Although I was not from a village school or something like that, even then, probably something, we have those innate things in us right from our birth, or maybe environment and surroundings. Though my parents were always encouraging, and they were like, my daughters are like my sons. In those days, preferences were for the sons and not for the daughters, but we were not treated that way. And it was like we were being encouraged for everything and anything, but then somehow my innate character was timid, shy, and this fearfulness, it was in me. But then yes, even I transformed. I talk a lot, I face the world. It's different. So possibilities do exist. It's for us to find the way. So I would like to know more about the transformation. Yes, we have heard about this thing, the possibility aspect of yours, how you turned into an HR from an engineering background, but the life behind it. As you said, like we got a glimpse of it that you were from a village school. So a village girl representing an international forum, talking in TEDx, that too fluently in English, that's really, really inspirational. So how did that happen? What was the motivating factor, and what all did you do to come to this space?
Thanks, Roshni, for asking this, because this is where many of us falter. I had done it too, but there was some force behind which kept me moving. Otherwise, we see that there are students or there are people in life who are very good when it comes to starting off something, but that persistence is missing. So the formula that I follow is of SAY, which is say. Very simple. We say, but what do we say? So S stands for self-leadership. And I would advise everyone that the first thing we should do in our life is to lead ourselves. We are not born with a manual, but if we were to, self-leadership would be first chapter, because we need to lead ourselves. The moment we think of leadership, we think that it's all about leading others, but we forget ourselves. And one study from Harvard University indicated that 95% people are not self-aware. And what happens when we are not aware? We don't know how we are behaving in a particular situation. How are our emotions moving? How are we being perceived? And what is our strength? What is our areas of improvement? Another thing that society has done to us is always focus on improving your weakness. We don't focus on our strengths. But psychology taught me that strengths are equally important, rather more important. So you need to harp on your strengths much more, and at the same time bring your weaknesses to a level where they are functional. So that is first thing, that you need to be self-aware. You need to focus on self-acceptance, because the stage after self-awareness is like, I am not good enough, because you know your flaws now. You know your strengths also, but our hunter-gatherer's brain always focuses on negatives. So we come to know, and then we are like, no, I am not good. I would not be able to do this. So moving from one challenge to another, and then having that faith, okay, I am not perfect, but I would work on this and I will be able to manage it, is another thing that is important when it comes to self-leadership. And finally, continuous learning, self-growth. So learning, connecting with your mentors, being agile all the time is third thing. And most important thought process here should be internal locus of control. So you should not think that everything is beyond my control. Say for example, you keep your garbage out and you keep it at the wrong place and the truck doesn't pick it up. And you blame it on the truck that it didn't pick up my garbage. But when you introspect, you will know that you kept it at the wrong place. This is a kind of external locus of control, but it should be internal. However, you keep it at the right place and still it doesn't pick up, then it becomes external locus of control. So then you can't do anything about it. But most of the things in life should be internal. There should be a good balance between the two. And that's how self-growth happens. Then comes A, accepting new mental models. Like we spoke, 1 plus 1 is what? It's 2. No, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 1, 0, it can be anything. So this is a new mental model we keep creating when we open to new things, when you open ourselves to new opportunities, possibilities, and we move out of comfort zone. So that's another thing, that bring in more and more learning in your life, bring in new models, accept them that even this is possible. And what helped me, that I have been to 7 different states in India, and including Northeast. So day starts at 4:30 there and ends at 6-7 o'clock. And you come to know that even this is a possibility, even this happens. So more and more you open yourself to diversity, you will be able to create new mental models, and self-reflection is another important thing. And finally, why? Why is for yet or not yet. A school in Chicago rates you not yet if you do not pass in a particular paper. What's the difference between failure and not yet? Failure says you are not good enough, you could not do this. And not yet says you are not there yet, but you are somewhere, you have started and you can move forward. So this is another thing. And again, the role that society plays, it gives us fixed mindset. We believe that talent is limited and we need to look smart all the time. So all our energies are consumed in looking smart. Whereas with growth mindset, we have a thought process that mistakes, failures are part of life, and we have to move on from one to another, taking all the opportunities with us. So these are 3 fundamentals on which I have always worked. SAY, self-leadership, accept new mental models, and power of yet.
Wow, that's another learning. So I didn't know about this say. That's a learning for me too. Thank you so much. And Gauri, when I was talking to you the entire time, there was one proverb that kept on ringing in my mind. Rolling stones gathers no moss. So you've done that. Throughout, you've been learning, looking for possibilities, finding ways, and showing people, yes, we can do it. Telling others, if I can do it, you also can do it. It's all in us. And when you talked about self-leadership, absolutely, I agree with you 100%, because I've seen in my sessions, people will say, do you have leadership modules? Do you do leadership sessions? So I say I only build leaders, because each one of us is a leader. That's what we do not understand.
Yeah.
It's not only leading from the front, it's also about leading us and leading those who are behind us. Because understand that even if we are not at the helm of something, there are still people who are following us. So we are all leaders. Thank you for taking up all those topics in such a short time. It was amazing, and I'm sure many people will be benefited from this talk, especially the young leaders, or I should say the college going children, because that's when we should start, or maybe even the school going children. That's when we should start talking these to them. That's when the real change will happen, because after a period of time, we get conditioned to certain things. We do not change. How much ever we understand, it's hard to change because we form those habits of not changing. So it's better we start early. Thank you so much, Gauri, for taking out your invaluable time and being with me here in this event. I'm sure people will benefit from this. Your 3 short concept, possibilitarian, being a possibilitarian, the say concept, and this leadership, self-leadership. Awesome, amazing. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you so much, Roshni, and you said it right, because these are life skills. through which we have to run through our life, but these are not taught in school, these are not taught in colleges. And the new concept that I'm seeing is young students, 19, 20 years old, they will go for coaching. Sometimes they come to me for mentoring, and it's amazing that they are opening up to these things. When we were in college, or you will remember when we were in schools, there was nothing like this, that somebody would mentor us or coach us. And young professionals also are opening up to this idea that mentoring, coaching is extremely important. And this is where you learn life skills, because school, our curriculum is totally different. It doesn't give us that knowledge about life, how to live it. So thank you so much, Roshni, for spreading awareness. And once again, thanks a lot for inviting me here.
That's my pleasure and honor. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you.